Hello, my name is John Rose. In this video, I'd like to take a closer look at the father of medicine, Hippocrates. Hippocrates said that diseases are crises of purification, of toxic elimination. He also said that the more we feed a sick person, the more we harm them, and that if we feed a fever, we're going to have to starve a cold. And isn't that interesting how that has always been misquoted? Feed a fever, starve a cold, and then we get confused. Which one do we feed? Which one do we starve? We don't feed either one of them. What is wrong with us as a species? Why are we the only creatures on this planet who want to eat when we get sick? Every other animal knows to stop eating. They lose their hunger. So they don't want to waste any energy digesting food. They want to deal with whatever's going on. We want to put that energy towards that. That's why we always stop eating. Man is also the only creature that spoils their food before they eat it. Think about it. What are we doing? Why are we altering our food? Why are we eating things we're not even supposed to eat? Are we clever enough to overcome the negative ripple effect? What did he say? I don't even know what he said. How can we be clever enough to overcome it? Well, we live in a world where duality exists because we're living systems. We're subject to the law of cause and effect, just like all matter is subject to Newton's third law of motion, the law of action and reaction. So when we got action and reaction and cause and effect, what we're looking at here are what's known as ordered pairs. One comes before the other, the sequence cannot be reversed. And then when we look at the effect, it's either positive or negative. That's how our brains are wired, for pleasure and pain. So we have to understand this part of our feedback system. And we've got to be careful when some people tell us that duality fades into the oneness of everything, as if that's supposed to mean something. And their conclusion for them is there is no right or wrong. No, there is a right or wrong. There is a difference between ecstasy and agony. Part of our feedback system. Oh, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. Okay, let's go with that. We're having a human experience. We need that feedback. We don't ignore duality. We need to understand that's how our brains are wired. Okay, there was formless energy, now there's formed energy. Well, if you're formed energy, welcome to the world of duality. If we're living systems and we go back to what we were before we were vibrating energy, then what? What does that mean? Think about it. We were once formless energy, then we became formed energy. Now we have this world of duality. And when we go back, hey, I thought we were all one, but now I understand, yeah, we're all one. So the point here is that you can't use the fact that we're all one to discount how important it is that we're still human beings, having a human experience here. We need that feedback system. There's no rationale to say that duality fades into the oneness of everything, therefore there is no right or wrong. No, that's hogwash. One of my pet peeves when people try to pull that one over on you, because most people don't really understand what's going on. Yes, we are all one. There's no disputing that. But we are still living systems. We have to understand our feedback system. And the problem here is that our so-called experts in all areas are told to negate the law of cause and effect. That's what they do to conventional medicine. Oh, diseases are due to inappropriate signals. Just don't blame it on your lifestyles. It's a medical condition. Blame it on biology. It's an inappropriate signal. No, that's not what it is. It's the same thing. We're talking about the same thing here. Don't negate the law of cause and effect. Just because we're all one doesn't have anything to do with two-value logic. If you're going to look at two-value logic, you got to compare it to one-value logic. Not to the oneness of everything. There's no connection there, but see how tricky people are? They think, oh, well, it's two-value logic, duality, and oneness. There's a connection. No, there's not. It's not the same thing. two-value logic, one-value logic, multi-value logic, infinite-value logic. One-value logic, God said so. Two-value logic, pleasure and pain, cause and effect. That's the only thing we need to know to get out of the hell we're in right now. Everything else is a distraction. If we can understand this simple form of duality, that we have to not put the cart before the horse for a problem that's within our control, if we can figure that out, then we can return back to paradise, which is simply a place where we don't have any problems that are within our control. So, Hippocrates understood that you don't feed a sick person. He understood that food is our medicine is our food. He understood the value of fasting, and he understood what the disease process was all about. It's a crisis of purification, of toxic elimination. Most of our diseases is simply our lymph system backing back up into our cells and our tissues. It's not any more complicated than that in most cases, unless something comes into us doesn't belong there. Food poisoning, or there's a lot of things that can get into us, that can poison us, that can harm us. Otherwise, the vast majority of our problems are self-inflicted. So that means there's something we can do about this. It means that we don't want to be distracted anymore. We want to get reconnected. We want to go upstream and realize how important it is to correct the very first mistake we made. Otherwise, it's all an illusion. And again, when we go back 2,400 years ago during the time of Hippocrates, they had a much better understanding of what was going on. And the further we go away from that very first mistake we made a long time ago, the harder it is for us to figure out, my God, this is a mistake. Because we keep repeating it generation after generation. This is a 3,000 generation old mistake we're talking about here that we need to correct. And do I harp on it? Of course I do. That's the only thing that we have to realize that we should put on our to-do list. Correct the fall of mankind. Always do that first, and then let's work downstream. There's a lot of work we got to do downstream. I won't go into that in this video. For now, just get excited about doing something. If you haven't done it yet, go down below at the description box. Go to the first step. That's a seminar I gave on how to do this. You can listen to Dr. Roba, watch the Deborah Duncan show if you want to get motivated. And when you do, I guarantee you, you're in for a treat.